The Galactic Council chamber was a marvel of interstellar engineering, a massive dome suspended in zero gravity, with luminescent panels casting a soft blue glow. Delegates from over 1,000 species floated in their pods, each one a beacon of their culture's pride and technological prowess. Today, however, the atmosphere was anything but serene. The representative of the HFY, a creature of crystalline tendrils and resonant tones, struck its pod with a sharp chime. This is unprecedented. Humanity refuses even the most basic diplomatic overtures. No species has ever behaved this way. The room erupted into a cacophony of alien languages, each delegate voicing concern or frustration. The humans, recently discovered newcomers to the galactic stage, had defied every expectation. Unlike most species that eagerly sought alliances and trade deals, humans had responded to all Council communications with silence. Probes sent to Earth were returned dismantled, their parts neatly arranged as if to say, "We don't need these." Ambassador Therax of the Lulgians, a slug-like being known for its calm demeanor, raised a gelatinous appendage. "Perhaps we are too quick to judge. Humanity may not understand the significance of our offers." "Too quick?" snapped Zorak, the representative of the warlike Brannock. "They understand enough to send our envoys back empty-handed. This reeks of arrogance, or worse, hostility." The Council's leader, High Arbiter Ilinth, a towering insectoid figure, let out a series of clicking noises that silenced the chamber. "Enough. We must approach this with reason. Humanity's actions, or lack thereof, must have an explanation. We need clarity, not conjecture." A holo display illuminated in the center of the chamber, showing Earth spinning serenely against the void of space. Humanity's technological capabilities, while impressive, were not advanced enough to pose a direct threat to the galaxy. Yet their defiance unsettled even the most powerful species. They rejected trade agreements, dismissed invitations to join the Council, and even ignored warnings about interstellar dangers. Ilinth continued. "And yet, their society thrives. They do not expand aggressively, nor do they seek to dominate. They remain isolated, purposefully so." "What if they're hiding something?" hissed Zorak. "No species denies the Council without reason. Could they have discovered technologies we cannot detect? Weapons, perhaps." The room grew tense as the possibility sank in. Humanity's refusal to engage wasn't just odd. It was potentially dangerous. Tharax sighed, a wet, gurgling sound. "We cannot allow paranoia to cloud our judgment. Humanity may simply value independence above all else. Or they see themselves as superior," another delegate interjected. "What if they think they don't need us?" Ilinth raised a claw, commanding silence once more. "There is only one way to resolve this. We must send an emissary of the highest rank, someone who can convey the gravity of our intentions." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Yet as the Council debated who would undertake this critical mission, a new alert blinked on the holo display. The feed switched to a live transmission from the outer sectors. A fleet of human ships, sleek, angular, and bristling with unknown technology, had appeared unannounced. They weren't attacking, nor were they responding to hails. They simply hovered, a silent reminder of their presence. The Council panicked. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy faced an enigma it couldn't decipher. What did humanity want? And why did they refuse to speak? The fleet hung like silent predators at the edge of Council-controlled space. There were no signs of aggression, no weapons charged, no shields activated, but the sheer audacity of their arrival sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council chamber. "They're testing us," bellowed Zorak, his mandibles clicking furiously. "This is a show of force. A warning?" "No," Tharax interjected, their gelatinous form trembling faintly. "It's too measured. This isn't an act of war, it's calculated. They want us to notice them, but they're not making the first move." High Arbiter Ilinth loomed over the holo display, his multifaceted eyes locked on the human fleet. "Regardless of their intentions, we cannot allow this to escalate. We will send an emissary immediately. Who volunteers?" The chamber fell silent. The human fleet's reputation had grown in the shadows of their silence. Stories of probes dismantled and council ships mysteriously redirected had spread like wildfire. No delegate wanted to face a species that seemed to thrive on unpredictability. Finally, Tharak's appendage rose. I will go. If humanity values independence, perhaps a calm and non-confrontational approach will open dialogue. The chamber murmured approval. Therax was known for their patience and wisdom, a far cry from the more aggressive delegates like Zorak. Within hours, Therax's diplomatic vessel, a shimmering sphere of bioluminescent energy, departed from the Council's central station and entered the sector where the human fleet lingered. As they approached, the humans made no attempt to block or guide the ship. They simply waited, an unsettling silence that pressed against Therax's senses. When Therax's vessel came to a halt, a transmission finally crackled through the comms. It was a single line, spoken in flawless galactic common. "You shouldn't have come." The voice was calm, almost cold. Before Therax could respond, a burst of data flooded their systems, an unencrypted package containing images, schematics, and text. What they saw chilled them to their core. The data revealed humanity's history, centuries of conflict, innovation, and survival on a planet that had tried to kill them at every turn. Earth's environment, with its natural disasters, predatory ecosystems, and volatile climate, was harsher than nearly any other known habitable world. But more than that, the data showed what humanity had achieved because of these struggles. They had developed technology not out of curiosity, but necessity. They had mastered warfare not for conquest, but survival. Their silence wasn't arrogance, it was restraint. Therax's trembling appendages hovered over the comms console as they composed a response. "We understand your history, but why reject our overtures? We seek peace, trade, and cooperation. What do you seek?" For a moment, there was no reply. Then, the voice returned, colder than before. "Peace is a lie, cooperation is a leash, and trade is just another word for dependence. We've seen what happens to species that accept your diplomacy. You assimilate them, strip them of their identity, and make them reliant on your council. We will not follow that path." Therax tried to protest, but the transmission ended abruptly. The human fleet began to move, not toward the council's territories, but away, dispersing into the void like specters. When Therax returned to the council, they relayed humanity's message. The chamber erupted once more, with some delegates demanding retaliation and others urging caution. High Arbiter Elenth, however, remained silent, his claws tapping rhythmically on his podium. Finally, he spoke. "They see us not as allies, but as a threat to their independence. This is not a refusal born of ignorance or malice, it is a choice. Humanity has drawn a line, and we must decide whether to respect it or cross it." The chamber fell silent, each delegate grappling with the implications. The humans had made their stance clear. Now it was the galaxy's turn to respond. But deep in his core, Elanth couldn't shake the feeling that crossing that line would be the greatest mistake the galaxy had ever made. The council chamber was in chaos. The High Arbiter's declaration left the delegates frozen in contemplation. Humanity's rejection of diplomacy wasn't just a challenge to the council's authority. It was a direct contradiction of the core principles that bound the galaxy together. "We cannot allow this to stand." Zorak's booming voice echoed through the chamber. "If humanity rejects unity, they are a threat. They risk destabilizing the delicate balance we've maintained for millennia." Therax, still recovering from their encounter, interjected with a calming gesture. "And what would you have us do? Attack them? Force them into compliance? That would only confirm their fears and escalate the situation. They've already escalated it." Zorak spat. "Their fleet, their silence, their refusal to acknowledge our authority. It's an act of defiance." "It's not defiance," Therax countered. "It's independence. We need to approach this with understanding, not hostility." High Arbiter Elenth raised his claw for silence, the clicking of his mandibles cutting through the heated debate. "Enough. If we act rashly, we risk creating a war that could engulf the entire galaxy. Humanity has given us their reasons, and while we may not agree, we must tread carefully. I propose a compromise." The chamber grew quiet, all eyes on the towering insectoid. "We will observe," Elanth continued. "Humanity has chosen isolation, but that does not mean we cannot learn from them. We will station covert observation ships near their territories, gather data on their movements, and assess their true capabilities. We will act only if they present a direct threat to galactic stability." The chamber buzzed with quiet murmurs. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was one that avoided immediate conflict. "I object," Zorak roared, his mandibles flaring. "They've already proven themselves a threat by refusing to integrate. Observation is a coward's tactic. We should. You will respect the Arbiter's decision," Elanth said sharply, his voice resonating with authority. "This council was built on consensus, not brute force. If you cannot abide by its rulings, you may leave." Zorak growled but fell silent, his pod retreating slightly into the shadows. The human's perspective. Far from the council's deliberations, aboard the Erebus, Admiral Jonathan Reyes stood on the bridge, his arms folded as he watched the holographic display of the council's observation ships taking positions near the border. "They're watching us," his second-in-command, Commander Eliza Quinn, said, exactly as predicted. Reyes nodded. "Of course they are. The council can't handle something they don't control. They'll poke and prod until they think they understand us. Then they'll make their move." "And when they do?" Quinn asked. "We'll be ready," Reyes said, his voice cold and resolute. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. Since first detecting the council's probes, Earth's governments had unified in secret, pooling resources and knowledge to develop advanced technologies hidden from prying eyes. They had watched as the council absorbed species after species, stripping them of their sovereignty under the guise of unity. Humanity refused to be another name on their roster. "Status report on Project Aegis," Reyes asked, turning to a nearby officer. "Fully operational, sir," the officer replied. "If the council attempts anything, they won't know what hit them." Reyes allowed himself a small smile. Humanity wasn't interested in conquest or domination. They simply wanted to be left alone. But if the council couldn't respect that— Back at the council, months passed, and the observation ships gathered their data. Reports of advanced human stealth technologies, energy manipulation, and unparalleled tactical precision filtered back to the chamber. Each revelation only deepened the delegates' unease. "It's worse than we thought," Zorak growled during one heated session. "They're not just capable of resisting us, they could potentially surpass us." "But they haven't acted aggressively," Therax argued. "Everything they've done is defensive. Their fleets haven't crossed our borders. They haven't attacked our observation ships, even though they know they're there. This is restraint, not hostility." Elanth's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Restraint or not, their capabilities are undeniable. If they chose to act, the council would face an enemy unlike any we've encountered. The chamber grew silent as the weight of that statement settled over the delegates. For all their power and unity, the council had never faced a species that refused diplomacy so utterly, or one that seemed so utterly unafraid of them. But as the council debated its next move, deep within human territory, the Erebus and its fleet prepared for every possibility. Humanity's message was clear. They wanted no part of the council's galactic order. The question now was whether the council would respect that, or force humanity to prove why they shouldn't be crossed.